Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now this one is revisiting a video I did quite a while ago, which was looking at the Nissan Juke glow plugs. Loads of thank you to people that have put into the comments some really useful information about the Juke glow plugs. Now I don't know if I'm going to actually take the old video down because it's not very accurate and it doesn't really help you out. So I've been looking because we've been getting a few cold snaps here in the UK and the Nissan Juke has been struggling to start, which of course tends to point to glow plugs. And I've also got a fault code logged which I'm going to download with my iCar soft scanner and take a look. So let's have a look at the glow plugs. GoPro, stop recording. First thing I want to do is have a look at the existing glow plugs. Now, in the previous video, what I mentioned is that I tested them with a multimeter. So I tested the glow plugs and also the voltage that was coming back. Sorry, the camera work's not very good here whilst I try and get the bonnet up. Let me fasten the bonnet and actually get the camera working. Right, so yeah, in the previous video what I did was I looked at the glow plugs and I tested them using my multimeter, my trusty old multimeter that I've had since I was a kid actually, and they were showing an unusual voltage. I was expecting to see 12 volts. Now actually the glow plug voltage on this is 4.4 or 4.8, somewhere about there, which is quite unusual. I haven't come across that, but that's the standard for the K9K, which is the Renault engine that's inside these Nissan Jukes. So I think I need to retest the voltage and see what I'm getting at the plug, and then we're going to go and replace the plugs. First thing is actually getting to them. Now the plugs are around about there on the engine block. So what I'm going to do is undo this pipe, take the plastic cover off, and we should then be able to see them in the engine bay. Plastic cover off, pipe over the top undone, a couple of nuts to take off, and we can now get at our glow plugs, at least the wiring to them. You can see there's one there, 2, 3 and 4. Now they are fairly tricky because of the fuel lines, but not impossible I don't think. Hopefully I don't need to undo the fuel lines to get at them. I can certainly take the wiring harness off. Let's just pop one of these off. They've got plastic tabs on them to make them a little bit easier to remove by the looks of it. Although not coming off immediately. Let me get two hands on it and let me get one of the connectors off. You can see it's got this plastic tab on it. Just lifted it up and off, so there's the connector. You can see our glow plug sat down there. Now typically it's quite a mild day today, so the trouble is the car probably won't put the glow plugs on for very long at all. But still, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the meter to DC voltage. I'll set the camera up so you can see it. So you can see the voltage, hopefully, that appears on the meter. And I didn't see any voltage register at all there. Oh, there we go. It was a bad connection. So actually it's registering 2.5 volts at the minute. So it is heating, and now it's just turned off. If you don't get any voltage to the glow plug modules at all, it would suggest that you've got a problem with a fuse or the glow plug module itself, which is actually down there. It's just down the back. I think there's the ECU. It's kind of down that way. But that's good. We're getting voltage, and we're getting around about what I think we would expect then. Like I say, it's not the coldest of mornings. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the car for a bit because I want the engine block to be heated up before I remove the glow plugs, because removing glow plugs you want to make sure they're nice and hot. I'm also going to spray WD-40 down there to give us our best chance at removing them, because you really need to make sure they're going to come out smoothly, because glow plugs can be a real pain. So I'm going to heat the engine up, put some WD-40, and I'll come back to you. Now here's the thing, I was looking in the Haynes manual for the Nissan Juke and about the glow plug section, and here in the glow plug section it actually says that the plugs work by applying 12 volts to them. So do not follow what it says in the Haynes book, because applying 12 volts to a 4 volt glow plug, I should imagine, will burn it out. Now the replacement glow plugs I've got do actually have it stamped on. You won't be able to see this, but take my word for it, 4.4 volts here. So it does show that these are 4.4 volts. I also looked on a few eBay and product listings over on Euro car parts as well, and they do say 4.4 volts, so we know that we've got the right ones and the right voltage. So ignore the Haynes book for this one. Right, that's the engine up to temperature. I'm going to go with a 10mm deep socket. I've sprayed a lot of WD-40 in, and what I'm hoping is first of all that I can get in okay with the deep socket, because access is a little bit tricky because of the injector pipes. Not the injector pipes, the fuel pipes. So how simple that's going to be to actually get in, I'm not really sure. But I'm going to go, so it's a 10mm. I'm going for a long socket to see how well I can get on top of them and down to their thread. Yeah, that's tricky, because that's getting caught on the injector pipe. Because I'm not sure if you can see. Let me bring you in. You can see this injector pipe is right in the way. Try from a different angle. So coming from the top, that injector pipe is in the way. If I maybe try from this angle, I know these pipes are getting in your way, but I'm trying to see myself. Let's try in at that angle. And you can see I'm now getting caught on this injector pipe here. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to have to actually crack these injector pipes loose, which is not what I wanted, fuel injector pipes, because it's part of the common rail system, or whether to try a standard socket down there. I might try a standard socket first. Not sure if it's going to be deep enough though, because the injector the glow plug does have quite a bit of free space on the top. Let me have a look and I'll come back to you. There's the solution. I've found a thinner 10mm socket on a universal joint, so now I should that's better. That's gone straight down onto it. I'm going to move the camera out of the way now and get my ratchet onto it. And see if I can just very gently Oh, there we go. Okay, that's injector 1 turning. Okay, so I've released the pressure off it, so I'm going to move on to the next one. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to release them off first and then work through taking them out completely, because then I can make sure I know which ones I've done and where I'm up to. So let's go on to the second one here. I'm going to also make sure I keep the wires in order. It shouldn't matter because they should all get powered simultaneous, but I want to try to take things off in the order, or put things back on I should say, when it comes to it, in the order I took them off, just to make sure. This one's a little bit trickier just because of the position, again because of those high pressure fuel pipes that keep getting right in the way. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we're on to number 2. And there we go, that's it loosened off. Now I'm actually not having to use what I would class, oh that's annoying, excessive force to take them off. Now the Haynes manual did say the torque spec on them, which I'll have a look in a sec and I'll tell you what the torque spec says, but they shouldn't be too tough to take out. I'm going to get the pliers, take my socket out and move on to the next one. It's 11 pounds-foot of torque on the glow plugs, which I think was 15 Nm. I can't remember if, I think that's Newton meters of torque, isn't it? 15 Nm. So it's not an awful lot. It's the second one done. Let's move on to number 3. Take the turbo hose back off again. I did put the turbo hose on because I had the engine running, because the car really does not like when it doesn't have that attached. So that's number 3. Now you'll also notice I'm not using any impact drivers, any electrical equipment. I'm only using small socket fittings because I want to use minimal force on this. If you have to use too much force, then you do run the risk of snapping or damaging things here, because these glow plugs are, or can be, delicate. So we want to take it easy with them. Now I'm not quite sure how difficult these are going to be to actually remove and bring back through the hole, so we'll find out. Oh, there we go. And there's one of them out. And there it is, the final one out. Now this one did struggle a bit. This one was making a squeak. So this one, you can see it's a little bit gummed up. It's not the best. But also that'll be from the WD-40 for cleaning it out as well, because I was using quite a lot. And there we go, there's our 4 glow plugs. Now they're not in terrible condition, to be honest with you, but it's difficult to tell because that one's suited up and you don't actually know how long these have been in or anything. But what I do know is on the writing here it does say 4V, so we know that these are 4-volt units. Now I'm going to get the torque wrench because I'm going to make sure that these go back in with the correct torque, just to make sure they sit correctly. The rest of this video I'm going to have to dub because once again the GoPro decided not to record. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit, but more importantly should allow them to come out a little bit easier in the future should I need to change them again. So it's just trying to prepare ahead. You can see I'm only using a very small amount on the thread there. That's all I want to do before I go and start to put them in. Now when I put them in, I'm going to do this finger tight. I'm not going to use any tools or anything like that again, because I want to make sure first of all that the threads go in nice and straight, And second of all, I don't want to do them up too tight initially. I just want to get them in and seated into the right place. So you can see I'm just doing them by hand. It's a bit fiddly to try and get in, so getting the first little bit in and then using the socket. But again, you'll see I don't have the ratchet on the end, just to get them started off loosely in, and I'm going to repeat that for each of the other glow plugs, working my way along. You can see I'm undoing and doing to make sure that, that it seats in properly. Now I'm happy that's gone in okay, then I can bring the ratchet in and start to tighten them up. Now remember, the torque values were very low, so they're not going to be done up really tightly. They're just going to be hand tight, and I'm not going to put an awful lot of pressure on. Now this one, actually, this was the stickiest of all four going in. You can see there is a little bit of force on this one, a bit more than I would have liked, to be honest with you. The other ones do go in a bit easier, but there we go. That one is done, and I'll work my way through the rest. That's now all four fastened back in place. So the next thing to do is to put the power connectors back on, the little push clips. This is quite fiddly, trying to get my hand around the fuel pipes, that's the metal pipes that are getting in the way, and to get these seated. Make sure they push on nice and positively. They make a good click when they go in, so you're listening out for that click and feeling it lock on to make sure that they've got a good connection onto each of the glow plugs. And that's about it for this video. Now I thought I'd show you the old glow plugs just to give you an idea what state they were in. You can see they are a bit charred and blackened, so whether they were working at full efficiency I really don't know, but I thought I'd show you those. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Sorry about the audio problems again with the GoPro. I've got no idea what I'm talking about here, so I'll tell you what, I'll see you in the next video.